Well, hello everyone. From Ankura Hospital for Women and Children Pune, this is Dr.Abhimanyu Sengupta, Senior Consultant Pediatrician. Well, my area of work is general pediatrics. And believe me, one of the commonest complaints I get to hear from hassled parents of kids typically between the ages of 1 and 3, otherwise known as toddlers, is "Bachcha kuch nahi khata hai." Alright, now before we dive into this problem of whether the kid is really not eating or not eating as much and what the parent would have him or her eat, let us just take a step back and try to look at it from the child's perspective. Okay, the reason is because we as adult caregivers, we tend to apply adult expectations and standards of behavior to our kids, which is not really fair, is it? There are a couple of things that we need to know about this age. Number one, this is the age for developing new interests, new abilities, new competencies, and an age of unending curiosity. So naturally, the child is distractible, very easily distracted, and difficult to put down in one place. Number two, this is also the age for emerging independence. Now, this manifests typically as oppositional and defiant behavior. What does that mean? It means that your sweet child, your sweet angelic child who used to listen unquestioningly and obediently to everything you said, suddenly becomes this devil and starts opposing everything that you say. It's typically like, you want me to eat? I won't eat. Let me see what you can do. Number three, what is important to remember is toddlers grow at a rate which is much slower than that of the infant. So naturally, their nutritional requirements will seem to be less than an infant. Number four, this is also the age when the stomach capacity gradually increases. So they can pack in much more food and they do not need to eat as frequently as the infants do. And most importantly, kids of this age, they are pretty good at auto-regulation. That means they are able to regulate their nutrient intake within reasonable limits. So if they miss one meal, they generally compensate for it on the same day or within the next couple of days. You must also remember that these kids also tend to snack in between meals, which helps to an extent to make up for whatever they have lost. So over the next couple of minutes, friends, I'm going to take you through 12 tips on what you may be doing wrong or what you could do. Okay, so let us come to what you may be doing wrong, what you should not be doing with your child. Number one, avoid separate meals for the child. Of course, there are exceptions to this. For example, if your child has allergies, food allergies, or certain specific health conditions, avoid separate meals. Number two, do not ever bribe your child with food. Do not use food as a reward. Number three, do not punish your child for not eating. Again, do not use food as a punishment. Number four, set a time limit for the meal. Don't let them sit for unending time at the table. Number five, do not serve difficult to eat foods. See, it is very trying for a toddler if you give a food that has to be peeled, that has to be cut, that has to be pushed into the fork and then pushed into the mouth. Okay, it requires a tremendous amount of effort, coordination, and of course a lot of time which may be spent doing something much more interesting. Number six, never force feed your child. Easier said than done. Number seven, do not offer unhealthy food options. Don't go for instant gratification by providing whatever is the demand of the moment. Number eight, avoid screen and other distractions during meal times. Number nine, avoid running after your child with the food. Very often, food becomes like a marathon race where the child is running and the caregiver is also running after the child. Number 10, do not ever fall into the trap of providing unhealthy fast foods to your kids when you're shopping with them at the supermarket. Number 11, avoid bringing same packed unhealthy supermarket foods home. Now, these foods basically fall into three main categories. One is the so-called health drinks, second is the so-called juices, and third is ready-to-eat foods. Please remember, all of these are just loaded with empty calories. They are very poor in protein, very poor in fiber, and they usually contain very poor quality fat. And last but not the least, do not ever have your child miss breakfast at home. Breakfast, remember, is the most important meal of the day, and you should not rely on the short break that is provided in the school. Now, from this, let us move to 12 things that you can do for your child, hopefully to make things better. Number 1, serve appropriate helpings and serve bite-sized pieces, something that the child can eat easily. Number 2, lead by example. You must be a good, healthy lifestyle and dietary habits guru to your child. Please remember, you are your child's first and most important teacher. Number 3, offer choices within limits of healthy eating. For example, if your child does not want to eat vegetables, you can make variations in the gravies that you give to your child. One day you can cook it in a pumpkin gravy, another day you can cook it in a spinach gravy. It all helps. Number 4, be creative, be inventive, think out of the box when you're planning your child's meals. Okay? You can experiment with textures, with colors, with different kinds of foods, with different shapes of foods, with the different utensils. It all helps to cut down the boredom that is related to eating the same food over and over again. Number 5, for new foods, start with 1 to 2 small bites. If the child refuses, try again. Keep trying at least 20-25 attempts before you give up that the child is not going to eat. Number 6, get your child involved in the process of preparation of food. That inculcates a sense of ownership, that the child knows that what I am eating and what is going into the food. Number 7, when the setting is socially appropriate, give the child the little freedom that is required to play with the food. For example, when you are eating at home, you can bend the rules a little bit. Have the child, because you need to satisfy their inner curiosity. Number 8, you need to back off a little bit when it comes to mealtime rules. For example, on an occasion, you can change the setting of the meals. You can take the meal and go into the garden and make it a kind of a picnic meal. That helps again to cut down the boredom associated with food. Number 9, regulate your anxiety, your emotions during meal times. It is very easy to lose your cool, but please remember, when you do that, the child develops negative emotions about the food. Okay? Be firm, but be pleasant, be non-confrontational. Number 10, make meal times as enjoyable and as interactive as possible. Please remember, in today's days and age, the concept of a family meal is gradually going out of fashion. That should not happen, because family meal is one time when the child gets to interact with the parents and the caregivers. Number 11, please ensure that all the caregivers are on the same page as far as the child's diet is concerned. And finally, at number 12, we have review your methods and your results periodically. You must visit your doctor from time to time, monitor the child's growth parameters to see that what you're doing, the dietary interventions that you have made, they are working properly for your child. So friends, with the help of these tips, hopefully you should be able to turn the narrative around. Happy parenting and good luck, folks. If you have any questions or any queries about what I have said, please leave comments in the comment box, or you can get in touch with us directly. Thank you very much.